Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Precipice. This is my solo adventure through the Blackstone Fortress from the Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress game. So, where we left off, we had just finished off the legacy step. Thankfully, there was nothing more than just a countdown on that one, so no new dangers are in place. But we are making a run through to the anti-grav Nexus, I believe it's called the Null-Gravity Abyss. That's what it's called. So we are doing a stronghold run. We're going to be using the same 4 heroes we've been using so far. Might shake it up a little bit after this. I got a couple ideas for after this as well. It's a little bit of stuff to maybe improve some difficulty as well. So once again, we are diving back in and we are going to see how our intrepid explorers fare in their quest for the hidden vault. So let's go take a look at what's going on. So as usual, we have our heroes in their chamber, the Maglev ready to go out. We have pulled the Null-Gravity Abyss, and in this particular case, we have created our run to that particular stronghold. It is 4 cards. They've already been shuffled up, randomized. So we're going to see what we're dealing with. As usual, we're going to try and keep to one combat encounter video, depending on how fast it goes. I'm almost feeling like in this one I might be making more of a quick run to it. So we'll see what we have time for. Obviously, don't want to go too long. But our very first, and I guess the other thing to mention is that everyone except for 025 has been inspired at this point. So that's the other factor in. If in a combat encounter I have a chance to inspire definitely going to try and do that, because having more people or more of the explorers inspired is great. So anyway, our first encounter will be, looks like we're in a combat encounter. So it looks like there's only 3 discovery points there, and pretty straightforward. So we're going to get that set up and get exploring. Our board is set up, so we have a couple of discovery points kicking around here. And I think, unless I see some spindle drones off to the side that it's easy to get to, I think we might just be making a run for it. So anyway, group 1, we are going to have some Trader Guardsmen. We'll have 7 Trader Guardsmen coming up right ahead of us, followed by 6 more Trader Guardsmen in group number 2. And then group number 3 is going to be a pack of Ghouls. So we have Trader Guardsmen up here, Trader Guardsmen over here, and then a pack of Ghouls right over here. So the next step is we got to see what the initial initiative is going to be. So I'm going to get these shuffled up, and we're going to find out what the first turn is looking like. We got our adversaries on the table here, so we're ready to see what the initiative is going to be. So starting us off, we are looking at hostile group number 2. So that's going to be the 6 Guardsmen, followed by Rain and Rouse, and I did just drop a couple cards here. So next up was going to be Aegisbrand Lacarno. Then we have Janus Drake. Hostile group number 1, so that is a group of guardsmen. 025. And then hostile group number 3. So that is how we are looking here. And then we do have to figure out a couple of our action dice here. So Rain and Rouse. Looking at a pretty solid run. Only one thing that's not going to allow him to do a double team at this point. And then with his 3 dice. It's looking at 3, 1, and 3. So he's not moving very far, and he doesn't really have his great cannon attack there, unfortunately. And then Janus Drake. That 3 is cocked. Janus Drake's actually looking pretty good, so he will actually have some dice to do things. So we might be making a run right up the gut here, just because it looks to be the easiest. There's no cover to deal with. And Aegisbrand Lacarno is looking at some modest ones. He's probably just going to run right up the gut as well. And then we do have to find out what our destiny dice are looking like. So we got not too bad. Okay, so there's 2 we're going to lose. Everything else gets to go with us because of Aegisbrand's ability. And that'll bring us into the start here. And to start us off, I think Janus Drake is actually going to attempt to do a gambit, because I want him to basically swap places with number 2 there, if possible. Nope, he will not be swapping any places here, and I don't think anyone else wants to really try and do that. So we're going to go into turn 1, which is going to start us off with group number 2. Now, one change I am instituting right away, and this is something I've been seeing around a lot, is instead of rolling individually for all of them, people have suggested roll them all as one, and you get a much more cohesive effect there. So for group number 2, we're going to be looking at a 20, which, so naturally that's what's happening here. So it is going to be a rush. So each one of these Trader Guardsmen, they're going to take a move action, then they're going to take a charge action. So each one is going to be moving a total of 2, and then they will be charging forward. And if I recall correctly, a charge is then another move, and then they get to attack if they are so lucky. And if there's nothing visible, then they will simply move again. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. So each one is just going to get to move. So 1, 2, and then move forward again, like so. Now it looks like none of them are actually going to be able to get to a point where they can see anything, so they're just going to move once more again like this. So basically, a whole bunch of them are going to be able to get up there and get right in my face, it looks like. Because let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because these guys, because unfortunately that isn't impassable terrain there, are going to get up to there. So I already have a whole gaggle of guardsmen right in my face, so I'm going to have to deal with this. Now, thankfully, they did use all their actions to get up there, so I'm not taking any attacks just yet. But it is still something that has to be dealt with. That brings us to Rain and Rouse, and I think what we're going to do is we're just going to start clearing out some of these guardsmen right off the bat. So we are going to do some double team actions with the stub pistols. So Rain and Rouse just firing right in there, going to try and take out these 3 guys in this hex with, they'll take one of the 4s away there. So rolling the 2 dice here. So we do have 1 grievous wound, so that's 1 guy out of the way. And then the other part of the double team action is nothing. We are going to do that again, taking the other 4. So there's another grievous wound. And let's see if we can take out 1 more guy here. There we go. There's another grievous wound. Alright. So fantastic. And what they'll do then is I think they will spend 1 more action to move all the way up to here. They're just going to do a double team action like so. And I think they're actually going to make use of 2 of the Destiny dice, or at least 1 for the time being. They're going to make use of that too. And they're going to do a double team action against these guys right here. So there's 1 right there. And the next shot, nothing. They're going to spend that last Destiny dice. So there's another grievous wound. And then hopefully I can get another grievous wound here and take out that sergeant. No, it's just going to be a regular wound on the sergeant, so he does have 2 remaining. So Rain and Rouse did clear some enemies out there. I almost forgot there is a 1 more die result of 1, so they are going to just do a single stub pistol action, see if I can take out the last couple wounds. No, it's just 1 more wound on this sergeant. Esper Locarno is next, and we're going to spend his 1 to move him up next to the Trader Guardsman here. And then we're going to use a, let's see here. He doesn't have any 4s, so he's just going to be trying to do some unfortunately, it's just some 3rd eyes. So he'll spend a 2 to do a 3rd eye attack, which is just the 1 purple die. And he'll spend a 3 to try it again. There we go. So there's the grievous wound that will take out the sergeant. So that does clear everything out there. And I'm almost thinking I might want to go over this route here. No, I'm going to have to deal with these guys anyway. So I think what we're going to do is he's going to spend that 3, and he's just going to make a long bomb attack against. Let's see if we can't get rid of this. Oh, I don't have, I have line of sight to the flamer. So we're going to see if we can't just take out the flamer with a grievous wound here. Nothing. Okay, so that is it for Esper and Locarno, but Janus Drake is up next. Janus Drake is up next, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to spend 2, oh geez here. Yeah, we're going to spend 4, 5, so he's going to spend 3 of his action dice to get all the way up here. So this is a bit of a gambit on my part, but with his flurry of attacks, hopefully we're going to be able to take some guys out. So we're going to use the remaining 5 of his for flurries of attacks here. So looking at a D8, and we're going to go after the sergeant. So that is going to be 1 wound on the sergeant, and he does have, and this is with a flurry of attacks. Let's see, it's how many times? It is 2 attacks. So that is going to take out the sergeant, thankfully. But got a couple more that we're going to have to deal with here. So he's going to use that 6 that's in the Destiny dice. That's going to give him 3 more attacks. And we're going to see if we can clear on a couple more guys. So we're going to go over here because we want to take out that flamethrower. Nothing. Nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I got 1 more here. Oh, that's just a single. You know what? I'm going to try to use the Yukaro weapon enhancement and see if I can get a grievous wound. Oh, no, because it's only a failed attack. Darn. Okay. So I'm just going to apply one wound onto the flamethrower there. And unfortunately, that is Janus Drake's turn up. And unfortunately, Group 1 is up next. The Traitor Guardsmen are going to try and reprise here, and we're looking at an 11, and there's a whole bunch of them here. Majority of them are considered engaged. So on an 11, we are looking at an onslaught. So we have a whole bunch of attacks coming in here, because I think the onslaught is... Do they get rerolls? I can never remember. No, they just attack and then attack again. So with the onslaught here, let's start with the heavy or the flamer guy, simply because that is going to end poorly for me. So first attack with the flamer is nothing. Now I do have to roll a defense dice for this because this gives me a chance to possibly attack back, which it will allow me to actually attack back. So in this case, I'm using Swashbuckler here, so I can immediately take a pistol and rapier attack, which will be nothing. And then he does get an additional attack, and nothing. There we go. So my defense roll back is nothing, but thankfully no damage is being done. So now we have the pistol and melee weapon. So we have the 2 pink dice here. We have nothing going on there with my defense roll. So I do get a swashbuckler attack back, which will take him out. Fantastic. All right, and then we got over here, we got the las gun guy, which is going to be one of the purple dice. Nothing with my... Oh, that's not my defense die. That's my defense die. Nothing going back. And then nothing with the defense die. Nothing. Okay, then we got this guy right here with the pistol or the grenade. And he is just 1 hex away, so he's rolling the gray die. No damage. No attack back. No damage. No attack back. And then these guys over here with the onslaught, I believe... Oh, wait, they all have ranged weapons, so I don't know what I'm worried about here. So the guy with the las gun is going to attack back with the purple die. Nothing. And I'm not adjacent, so I'm not going to bother with that defense die. He gets another attack. Okay, 1 damage, which will go through. You know what? We're early enough on that I am going to use the Drakeskin Cloak to try and reroll that. Okay, so I will block that 1 point of damage. And then we have the last guy here with the pistol and melee weapon. So nothing. Oh, we got a grievous wound coming through. Oh no! Okay, I can't reroll that one. So that's not good. So Janus Drake has taken a grievous wound, but that is the end of this turn for the guardsman. That will bring us to Ur's turn, and he doesn't really have a whole lot he can do. So I think what we will do is we're just going to spend all his dice, and unfortunately he's not inspired. So he can't even move 2, so he's just going to move 3. He's just going to go 1, 2, 3, and just get right in the corridor here. Because that's where the Urghouls are going to come from, and with his rerollable D12, hopefully he'll be able to weather some of that storm. Which will bring us to Group 3, which is the Urghouls. And they are rolling a 17 on their behavioral chart. They are out of line of sight, so they are just going to be doing a charge. And they do move a total of 3. So each one, so 1, 2, 3, and then he'll move 1 more because he's going to get within range. So they're all basically getting right in there, but thankfully they are not quite able to attack. So what I thought was going to be a pretty straightforward battle here is looking like I might need to grind it out a little bit. But at the end of the turn, we do have the event die. So first off, we got to see if anyone's inspired. So Rain and Rouse, they did take out a whole bunch of wounds here. I'm counting, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And they are not going to get any inspiration point. Esper and Locarno looking at 3 or under, just shy. And then Janus Drake was looking at 5, and nothing for him either. And then finally the event die. We are looking at a 6 on the event die. So in this particular case, on a roll of a 6, we have not dead yet. The leader must pick 1 hostile that was slain during combat and has not returned to the battlefield, and then deploy them as close as possible. So we will just take a regular sword and board guy, or pistol and combat guy, and just deploy him right there. And that will bring us to the end of the turn. Going into the next turn, we do have to see what the new initiative phase is looking like, and we are starting off with Rain and Rouse, then Janus Drake, so that's good, he's going before Group 1 there. Esper and Locarno. Group number 2, so they might get reinforced. Group number 3, so the Urguls are once again going, so the Urguls are going to be going before That's not very good. And then group number 1. So group number 1 is going last. This might be an instance where might be trying to do a gambit here. Actually, you know what? There's probably going to be a covering fire, actually. So anyway, so let's see what dice have. Has a 5, 4, and a 1. So that is enough to get a decent assault guy cannon off there. Rain and Rouse are looking at 2, 5, 5, and 3. So we got some double team actions there. Esper and Locarno. Oh, not looking at very good dice there. Some 1s, a 3, and a 5. I mean, it's not terrible for what he does, but honestly, hasn't been terribly impressive in the grand scheme of things. And then Janus Drake down to 3 dice. We're looking at 4s across the board. So we are looking at some decent flurry of blows attacks at the very least. And then for the Destiny dice, that 3 is cocked. So I'm going to lose 1 of the 5s, but I'm going to get 4 other dice here. So that's good. So I got some decent tools to work with this particular turn, with Rain and Rouse going first. But I think what's going to happen is Esper and Locarno and Esper and are going to be doing a covering fire here. So we're just going to swap them in the initiative track. And hopefully is going to be able to take some guys out before it becomes problematic. But we do start with Rain and Rouse. And I think what we're going to do here is Rain and Rouse. I'm very torn here because I don't want to be taking more, but Janus Drake has already taken some. You know what? Can actually recover some of his grievous wounds. So I'm going to take the chance here, and I'm going to spend 2 dice to get Rain and Rouse right up here. So they're moving 3 hexes total, and for a couple double teams. And we're going to use a couple more double teams and try and take out some of these guardsmen here. So I guess we're going to work with this group over here. So starting with the last pistol and melee weapon. So that's 1 wound, followed by a grievous wound. So that is going to take 1 guy out. And then we're going to spend another one to do it again here. So hopefully take out another guy. So there is going to be a grievous wound against the other guy. And then we'll move the next stub pistol attack over here. Nothing over there. And I think what we'll do is we are going to use one of the Destiny dice here. Do another double team attack. So that's 1 wound followed by 1 wound. So that's enough to take out 1 more guy. And you know what? I'm going to spend the 1 that's in there. So this is just a single stub pistol attack. Grievous wound. Okay, excellent. Rain and Rouse are cleaning house this mission. So that's fantastic, but they are all out of actions. But that does bring us to Janus Drake. Drake is going to open up with one of his 4s and use a flurry of attacks against this unit right here. Going to start with the flamethrower. And we are looking at a grievous wound for the flamethrower. So that takes him out, which is excellent. He's got 2 more attacks. Adds another grievous one. Okay, so I was able to clear out a path up here. He's going to spend his next one to get in here. I figure I'm 1 clue short of being able to actually do another stronghold after this, so we are going to try my luck on here. I do still have my Auspex, so we're going to be drawing the top, top 6 cards. So we got our deck right here. I'm looking for a clue. You know what? I'm not even going to bother with the rest because I got the clue. That's exactly what I wanted. So I will do a shuffle in the rest of that deck there. And that does remove all his dice. I think what we're going to do, yeah, you know what? I'm going to move him 1 more with using the Destiny die, and then I'm going to spend the last Destiny die, and I'm going to summon the Maglev, because we need an escape route. Next up is He's going to spend his 1 to actually move back 1, because I want to be able to use my my Mark 1 assault cannon and get multiple attacks against these ghouls. Let's see here. So he is taking a weapon action, so he's going to use the assault cannon here, sustained fire, using a 4+, so it's going to be 2 shots, I believe. Yeah, 2 shots against the ghouls. So the first shot, nothing. followed by, okay, so that's one dead one. And we're going to do this again. So we have nothing. And one wound going on to an Urgul. And we're going to exhaust the full auto setting on the munitions fabrication card. So he is going to take another weapon action, and it's going to be the exact same one here. No activation die is spent, so I'm going to assume that I can only make one weapon attack in this one. If I'm wrong, the internet will yell at me, so that's cool. But anyway, we have one more wound on the Urgul. Sadly, they do have 3 wounds, so it's not going to take that guy out, which is not good because we're now moving into the enemy phase. First up, we're going to see if Group 2 reinforces. They are not reinforcing, so we move on to Group 3. Do they reinforce? No reinforcements there, but they do act, and we're looking at a 16 with the Urguls. They got some line of sight, so they are close. So we are seeing a charge action with them. So the wounded one's going to run up all bitter and angry here, and going to try to attack into here. It's going to make 3 attacks against So the first attack, no damage. Second attack, 1 damage. So will defend against it. And then the third attack is going to be a grievous wound. And is going to take a grievous wound. Oh, wait, I get rerolls. That's right. He gets to reroll these. Oh, no. Okay, so is still taking a grievous wound. So this first combat is already starting to hurt a little bit. And the next Urgul is going to do the exact same thing. So starting off with nothing. We got 1 regular wound, which will be blocked. And then finally, we'll have nothing again. So is only coming out with 1 grievous wound, but that's still 1 wound more than I was hoping to actually take. But that will bring us to Aegisbrand Locarno. He's going to use one of his 1 dice to get right up next to him, and then he's going to use his 5 to do a force. Actually, you know what? He's actually going to move back there because we can use his 3rd eye for much less. So we're going to use another one of his 1s. We're going to use the 3rd eye, the 2 purple die against the wounded one, see if we can take him out, which is enough to take out one of the Urguls. Fantastic. And then we're going to use the 5. No, we'll use the 5. And we'll do it again. Hopefully take out this other Urgul. Not quite, just dealing 1 wound against him. But going to try 1 more attack and hopefully take him out. That is the grievous wound we needed. So that will take out the final Urgul, which does bring us to group number 1, which is currently all dead. So do they reinforce? They do not. So we do have to see if anyone's getting inspiration points here. So Rain and Rouse is looking at 8 or under. Nada. is looking at a 3. Nope. Janus Drake is looking at 4. And Aegisbrand Locarno is looking at 6. Hey, Aegisbrand Locarno is getting an inspiration point. Great. And then we have the event die, which is going to be a 9. And on a roll of a 9, we're looking at changing conditions. So we got to see, do we have a twist? No twist. All right. So that will bring us into the next turn. So we are going to what I hope will be the final turn here. So we do have our initiative order. So we have Aegisbrand Locarno, group number 3, group number 2, group number 1. So we've got a bunch of possible reinforcements here, but they're all going to have to come in by portals. Then Janus Drake, which means Rain and Rouse is last. So we do have some dice to generate here. So who's down to 2 dice, 5 and a 6. So at the very least, he's going to be moving at least 4 hexes this particular turn. Rain and Rouse with enough to get them into the Maglev, and that's exactly where they're going to end this turn. Janus Drake, who's down to 3. And yeah, that's enough to get him into the Maglev. So once again, that's exactly where I want him to be. And Aegisbrand Locarno, same deal. That's 8 movement there. So barring anything sort of untoward, he's getting into the Maglev as well. And then we have the Destiny dice. Hopefully we can get a couple more here for That one is definitely cocked. Okay, so I'm going to lose one of the 2s, but I have everything else there. So I got some dice to play with. Okay, so Aegisbrand Locarno, he's just going to spend his dice. So there's 1 die, there's 2 die, and 3 die just to get him in there. So he is all done. So group number 3 will be reinforcing. Oh boy. Okay, so group number 3, that is the Urguls. So they are small. So they are going to be getting, all 3 of them are coming back. So they come back right there, and then they all do a move action. So 1, 2, 3. So they're coming down the corridor there. Group number 2 will not be reinforcing, and group number 1 will not be reinforcing either. Okay, so just group number 2 there, which then will bring us to Drake, and Drake is just going to get into the Maglev himself, which brings us to and I think what we're going to do with is first up is we're going to make sure he gets to the Maglev. So he's going to have 2 of his own dice. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to spend the 1 just to get in there, and he's going to spend a 5 to do a recovery roll here and hope to get rid of that grievous wound, which he fails to do. And then Rain and Rouse, they have enough action dice. They are just going to get into the Maglev itself, and that is going to end this combat encounter. So 2 grievous wounds and a clue was found. And this is just the first encounter on the path to the Null-Gravity Abyss. Back on the Maglev, we do finish off with a nice little recovery roll here. So thankfully, nobody is injured to the point where we have to give up yet. Janus Drake, unfortunately, is not able to do any recovery because that is a grievous wound, but does have a chance. And will... Nope, so he has a grievous wound still. So that is the end of that particular phase, which means that first combat is done. So that one is in the books here. What are we looking at now? Oh boy, we're looking at another combat. We are looking at... oh, geez. Okay, so there we're looking at right there. So we're going to get this set up. I don't know if we're going to run it. I'm going to take a look at it once the board is actually assembled and see from there. Got the board set up here. It is a big one. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to draw the enemies and see what we're looking at and then make the call. So for the first one, we are looking at a couple spindle drones, which means I very likely want to fight this one because I want her to be inspired for the end of this game. We got 7 traitor guardsmen in group number 2, so right in that center there. So that's where the spindle drones are. That's where the traitor guardsmen are. And group number 3 is going to be more traitor guardsmen because they are so much fun. So I think with that said, this seems like a decent place to end the video. So be sure to check back in and see how our adventurers do on the path to the hidden vault here as we go towards the Null-Gravity Abyss for the first stronghold. We are already looking a little hurt as we go into this one, so hopefully we can hold up on our luck and try not to withstand too many more wounds as we continue this quest. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave your comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. That is a huge help to this channel. Helps keep me going, helps keep the lights on, all that sort of fun stuff. And as always, happy wargaming.